This is FlashTalk, the Uncut edition. Say it just how you feel it.
No filters, no fluff, just real talk with the full Flashpoint fam. Get with it.
From hot takes to belly laughs, the crew is locked in and ready.
From debates that might get a little spicy, including all VIP members.
This is where vibes meets voice, jokes meets truth, and we talk things.
We are here to get real.
It's raw, it's real, and it's about time.
This is Flash Talks, the Uncut edition. Flash Farm. What are the things then now? Real people, real voices, real conversations.
Flash Talk.
TikTok, YouTube, or Roblox, right? So, how do we train up our children when they are growing up with Google in their pockets and more screen time than playtime? How do we guide them, guard them, and ground them in truth where the digital world is louder than ever? That's what tonight is all about. We're going to have real talk with real voices who care deeply about the well-being of our children, spiritually, emotionally, and digitally. As we dive into the topic, raising children in a digital age, awareness, boundaries, and protection. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us, and get ready to join the conversation. Remember to like, share, and type your comments right in the chat. And I promise you, at some point, I will acknowledge each and every one of you. But let's meet our incredible panelists, and I'm going to start with this awesome gentleman who will introduce himself.
Hello friends, my name is Edgar Bennett. I'm a father of 2 boys. I have been exposing them
That's fine. To the digital world.
To the digital world, training them to maneuver the devices. And it has been an exciting journey so far.
Well, you said exciting, and I guess you're going to share more of why it is exciting, right?
Yes.
And then we have another awesome gentleman in our midst, and he's so dynamic. He's such a all-rounder that he'll be navigating the equipment while he'll be speaking with us. So even if we can't see Mario, we're going to get him to introduce himself tonight at some point. All right. So, Sir Edgar, my first question to you tonight: what should parents? What was your first introduction to the internet or digital tech as a child? And I'll repeat, what was your first introduction to the internet or digital tech as a child? And how does that compare to what children experience today?
My first introduction to the digital world was in high school. As a matter of fact, it was a boarding high school at the time. And I'm very happy it happened within that environment, within that context. So it was more or less controlled.
So was it introduced by educators or friends?
By educators. So we had access to the IT lab at the time.
Was it those big back computers?
Yes, it was those big back computers.
Okay. Did you have to type a certain amount of words per minute? Was it that kind of?
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Okay. Do you remember when you got your first phone?
I may have gotten my first phone as a young adult.
Me too.
I was a young adult at the time.
Did you have to go to the phone booth and buy card and talk until the credit ran off? Was it that kind of thing?
Yes, it was pretty much that kind of a thing.
You line up at the phone booth.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And for those of you out there who think we're very old, no, we're not. I promise you, we're not. Yeah, I remember getting my first phone. I think we call them fridge. I got my first fridge, Nokia, when I was in college. Yeah, I was just about to graduate in college when I received my first phone. Yeah, and some of our children now, some children are getting phones at age 3. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing. And in your view, Sir Edgar, what are the biggest challenges children face growing up in today's digital world?
The greatest challenge is being able to filter. Because we cannot help but exist in the world. So we are open to all of these influences. And the children are no exception to the influences of good and evil. Therefore, the training has to be such that they are prepared so that when they're exposed to the evils that exist, they will be able to stand and remain true to the principles they are taught from home.
I agree. I like that.
But it's impossible to shelter them from all the temptations, the trials, the tests that they will meet through the digital world.
I agree.
Yes.
100%. You know, and we're moving into the digital awareness segment. And my question to you, sir, is what should parents and caregivers be most aware of when it comes to their child's online presence?
Last time we spoke about creating that safe environment, that safe space. So they have to be prepared to know what is harmful. They have to be prepared to know how to do that filtering. And without that preparation, because they're going to be very vulnerable and gullible. So it's important for them to be prepared. It is very important for them to be monitored. It's also very important for, and I guess we will come to that later on, in terms of creating those boundaries. And we should never be afraid to be seen as policing them too much. It is, as my elders would say, or old people would say, you know, it is better to err on the side of caution.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
So let them forgive us later for being too cautious, but it was out of an abundance of caution being exercised to protect them.
And I also believe that it's important to create that balance where I think someone was mentioning it this week, where we're not seen as helicopter parents. And I see Mario laughing. Do you want to chime in at this point, Mario? All right. So my question to you, Mario, is how can we stay informed to technology? How can we stay informed as technology keeps changing faster than we can say download?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
I think we have to make a concerted effort to stay ahead of the curve by always updating ourselves with the latest technology, staying in touch with what the children are doing, keeping up with the trends that they have. I am very guilty of not doing this. I have vehemently avoided TikTok, but more and more I'm thinking I need to get on the platform so I can see what they are going to be exposed to.
Are you saying you do not have a TikTok account?
I do not have a TikTok account.
Okay.
I stopped at Instagram. But as Elder Bennett was saying, we have to first lay the groundwork. It has to, digital safety starts with physical safety.
Yes.
If you can limit your child's screen time, then you're at an advantage where you're not only, you're not trying to police them all day, every day. You're trying to police them for the 3 hours that they're online.
Right.
There are safeguards that we can set up. We can set up scheduling through our internet devices, our internet modems, our internet routers. We can set up filters that will filter the content that comes through to their devices. And we can also practice safe browsing with them.
Correct.
I actually have a friend who has joined every single online game her son wants to play as his buddy, and they play together.
Right.
I would not have described her as tech savvy, but she has gone in and she has learned all the games, learned all the rules, and she's online with him when he's allowed to go online. And that way she keeps him safe. She knows she's friends with all his friends online.
Right.
And yeah, she has a digital presence. She is being a helicopter parent even digitally.
Right, and that's important. And Sir Edgar, if you'd like to chime in as well, how can we stay informed as technology keeps changing faster than we say download?
Mario just mentioned one I had in mind. The notion of maintaining a presence. So you're online with them, you're watching what they're watching, and you're accessible to the point when they come to you to say, Daddy, have a look at this. You're willing, you make the time to pause from your work, from your study, and look at what they're sharing.
And that's important.
Yes, and they should be so open enough that whatever it is that they're watching, you should be able to just stop by and look at it without them having to be hiding anything.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Absolutely. Once the hiding starts, then, and YouTube especially is a portal that spirals. You can go down a rabbit hole so quickly.
I know.
When my daughter was younger, she's almost 14 now, we had to put a ban on YouTube because she would watch these My Little Pony videos.
Right.
And there is
That's not an innocent.
It used to be.
Okay.
But there is a large following of adults who have changed it into something completely different.
Oh, I see.
Yes. So
Interesting.
yeah, you have to be very careful of what they are allowed to do.
I agree.
One of the things we try to do in my household is the screen time is not spent in a corner. You should be at a point where we can all see what's going on
See
the screen.
I agree. I agree. And talking about boundaries, how can parents set healthy screen time boundaries without becoming the bad guy? I'll start with Edgar.
And as I alluded to earlier,
Yeah.
there is no problem at all in being seen as the bad guy.
Okay, talk to us.
And although the relationship should be open,
Yes.
although you should solicit their feedback,
Yes.
ultimately the decision resides with the parent
Correct.
as to what is appropriate,
And what is not?
what is not,
Yes.
how long that screen time should be,
Yes.
and what should be the content of what is being viewed or listened to online. Again, the key is to communicate the message to them in a way that they will understand. If it is communicated in love, even though they may disagree, they will more than likely still appreciate the fact that you're trying to protect them.
Correct. Correct. And that is why having conversation with our children is so important.
Yes.
And I'm happy that we're moving away from, when children ask us questions, we are moving away from because I said so.
Yes.
Well, I hope that we are.
Yes.
Right? Because I said so, because it put things into context for them where they can, even though they may not agree, at least they can appreciate why mommy or daddy is doing what they're doing. And it's for their own good. It's for their protection. Right?
And my two sons, they're going to ask why. And it has to make sense to them. Why, daddy? But so and so. It has to make sense to them. And in justifying why you're taking a particular approach, you then help them to be able to increase their reasoning ability. You help them to be able to analyze scenarios, and when alone, they're in a better position to make better decisions on their own.
Even when you're not there.
Yes.
Yes. So they're intrinsically motivated based on the conversations you would have had with them and even the principles that you would have instilled in them. Mario, do you want to chime in on that one?
Yes. One of the things I think is a good way to start is more of a rewards-based scenario.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Okay.
So, let's say you get your chores done, then we get a half an hour of screen
So
time.
you use the when then method.
Yes.
When you get your chores done, then you get.
Yes.
Okay.
I am personally struggling with the approach that Edgar takes with the explanations and stuff. I'm still a little stuck in the because I said so era. But I am trying to encourage my children more that this is not necessarily a democracy, but we're open for negotiation. There are no terrorists involved, so we will negotiate. So I am now trying to get them to negotiate scenarios where if I say no, then come to me and tell me why you think you should be allowed to do X, Y, or Z. So we're trying to make it more rewards based. So we get home from school, we have to do homework. Once homework is done, then we can move on to, a little game time before dinner, that kind of thing. And we try to make the activity as enriching as possible. I remember some weeks ago I was getting on my son's case about watching a lot of, junk on YouTube. And he is interested in planes and ships. I found him a documentary on one of those supersonic bombers called the SR-71 Blackbird, and he almost lost his mind. All the facts, all the data, just a little tidbits about the fuel being a gel, not a liquid, because at the speed it goes, liquid would not, it would be too volatile, and he almost lost it. So I'm trying to teach him that you are born into a time where almost all the knowledge available is available to you.
Yeah.
I was telling my children of the times when I was in high school and we used to do SBAs.
Yeah.
I don't know if SBAs are still a thing.
Yes, they still do SBAs.
Yes.
Growing up in Kingston, we had to go to Tom Redcam Library,
Yes.
and every student in the corporate area was doing the same SBA and trying to get information from the same books at the same library.
Oh, wow.
And there were 4, 5, 6 of us huddled around one book at the table. And some people were, a little bit more affluent than others. They could take the book over to the copy machine and copy 10 pages and, go off home. Others had to sit there writing stuff out to go, and I said to them, this is what we experienced growing up, but we made it our point of duty to work hard at it, so that now you're living in the time where you don't have to go into a library. Your iPad has all this information at your fingertips.
Yes.
Oh, I haven't started them with the chat GPT thing. I'm trying to keep them away from the AI just for now.
Oh my goodness.
But, teaching them good research skills. They sometimes ask me stuff. And I say, what does Google say? We also have the Alexa smart speakers. And they sometimes will ask Alexa a question. And, we discuss the answers as Alexa chimes in.
Understood.
Yes.
And while we're on that, what are some signs that a child may be struggling with digital overload or social media comparison? I see Edgar's head went straight to Maria.
But it's different for little boys and little girls.
Yes.
My daughter, who is about to turn 14 next month, oftentimes will compare herself to images that she sees online. She wants to get her hair done a particular way. She doesn't want to wear her glasses. She's upset because she has braces. Why is she this complexion? Why isn't she that complexion? And we have to reinforce consistently that you are beautiful as you are. You're wearing braces because of your jaw structure, and we want to make sure that your teeth grow in a way that will not injure you later on. And we explain the scientific, not necessarily the cosmetic need for braces. And we discuss the glasses and why is it important to see properly and be able to read things accurately. And we do these things to encourage acceptance of herself, and we tell her how beautiful she is when we get a chance, and try and bring these things out as much as possible to keep it there. My son, and I'm sure Edgar can relate to this, boys tend to see things online and want to try it. And my son tends to like to watch these videos where they have this industrial shredder and they throw things at the shredder and see which one will stop the shredder. Now, I had a shredder at home, but it has stopped working and there's some jingling noises in it. And I wonder what he got to stop the shredder. But it's keeping things within reach. So recently I got a STEM kit, which was a Bluetooth speaker that we built together. I read the instructions with him, sorted the different components, handed them to him, got him a screwdriver, so he screwed it up together. He actually took the speaker today to show and tell, but he put this thing together and it works.
Wow.
Turn it on, it makes noise, he can pair his iPad to it and he can make a racket with it. As I said before, it's important for us to engage, stay in touch with what they are doing or what they want to do, and keep that line of communication open between them so they trust you with their thoughts and their ideas.
And the truth is, it's not just children who struggle, right? We do have men and women who struggle as well and tend to compare to what they see on social media. And I think I'm at this stage now where what we see is not always real. And people will do things on the screen, and then after that screen turns off, what you see is not what is actually happening behind the scenes. And I remember seeing this video, I think it was last week. This guy got this question. He was asked, what if you go into a store and you see a model and a thick black woman? Who would you choose? And his question was, why couldn't the thick black woman be the model? And what does a model look like?
What is she supposed to look like?
Who is she supposed to be? And he said, you know what? At the end of the day, I would have chosen my wife every day. And I thought that response was so epic. And I want to chime in and say, it is so important to appreciate who we are. And while we can admire persons online, it is so important to love who God made us to be, who we are as individuals. Because when we compare, we can go down that rabbit hole that may bring us into depression, and we really do not want to do that. And so, my question to Sir Edgar, don't look at Maria this time. This one is for you, sir. What strategies have worked for you or families who you work with, right? Maybe I've seen families. What strategies have worked in trying to balance tech and real world connection? And I think you have mentioned something like that earlier in the conversation.
But the main approach is to have a system of reward, and I think probably Mario mentioned that as well. So you reduce the screen time, so there's a cutoff at night, especially for my 5-year-old, because he needs many more hours sleep than the eldest, who is up pretty late into the morning studying for or preparing for exams. So he needs at least say 8 to 9, sometimes 10 hours of rest. And just going back to the previous question too, what I notice is that when they are overly exposed, they tend to become anxious. They tend to become possessive of the device.
Yes.
And they may come across as being disrespectful when you try to institute or when you try to monitor them. And that's a clear sign that their screen time at that point need to be reduced. And finding worthwhile activities for them to be engaged in. And oftentimes it's not just finding alternative activities, but could be making time to engage with them. For example, my young son, he loves to play football, and he loves the outdoor, and he wants me to be out there with him, and he wants me to be playing football with him. Sometimes I don't have the time, but sometimes I try to make the time. So at least we're bonding together, we're sharing the time together, and he's not on the screen. Other times we ensure that he's doing work, because he does quite a significant amount of activities outside of school, outside of the regular curriculum. So we provide that for him so that he can be ahead and for his own development. So those are some of the ways we use. And of course, he loves to watch some Christian videos. He loves to sing, so he will sing along. And then there are some videos that are educational, that are not necessarily curriculum based. And we allow him to watch those because they are mentally stimulating and they are educational.
All right. Thank you so much. And I think this question is for Mario. You're the tech guy. What tools or apps help protect our children online? And how do we involve them in the process?
There are several different platforms available. So let's look at our most prevalent platforms.
Right.
iOS, the iPad, the iPhone. They have screen time limits, so you don't allow your children to set up their own device accounts.
Correct.
Within the Apple's iOS environment, you as a parent, you create a child account for your child, and you use this child account to set up the iPad. And this allows you to set the screen time limits from your phone, not from the iPad. So you do that remotely. You can block content, so you can set your content restrictions. You want content for, let's say you have a teenager, you can set the content up to age 15 or age 17, age 13. Or if you have a younger one, like Edgar has a 5-year-old, I have an 8-year-old, you set the content to age appropriate levels. Apple has this ability, Google has this ability. You can use the Google Family Link to monitor and manage devices. Microsoft on its own has the Microsoft Family Plan that you can use to track and monitor devices as well. This works with PCs, Xboxes, and it will work on iPads and Android phones as well if you choose to use that platform. There's a oldie but goodie Net Nanny that's still around.
Oh, Net Nanny?
Yes,
Okay.
from way back.
Okay.
That is still around in some shape or form, that allows you to manage and monitor what the children can do. I think it's more so on PCs, but I believe they were venturing into the mobile devices very recently. As I mentioned earlier, it's also possible to set boundaries from your internet devices. I was mentioning to Edgar, I think it was last week, I created a zinc fence.
Interesting. Zinc. I haven't heard about zinc fencing
in a long time. So my children listen to a lot of world politics. And I remember speaking to my son, and I said to him, Daniel, I don't want you to watch a lot of YouTube because you're not watching things that are very constructive on YouTube. And he said, why don't you make me stop? And I said, well, Daniel, I'm not your jailer. I'm your father. I would hope that I would say to you, stop doing that, and you would be obedient. And he kind of took it as a little dare. Now, being a parent, sometimes we shout, and sometimes the vernacular changes, and we get down. For those of us who are from Jamaica, we get down into the patois, and they call it the bad man talk, and they are afraid of the bad man talk. And I keep saying to them, before you get to the bad man talk, there is 3 or 4 requests, and when those are ignored, that's when you get the bad man talk. So bad man come from garrison, and garrison is denoted usually by a zinc fence. So since you don't want to comply with the requests, bad man rule of his start now, and I got a new router, called it the zinc fence. Took down the old Wi-Fi, put up the zinc fence Wi-Fi. I have control through an app. This is a Ubiquiti Unify router, and I have blocked Roblox until 2:30 in the afternoon, I have blocked YouTube on all the devices that he uses. And I have a couple other little rules. I can block internet at a certain time, so I have schedules that I can pause or unpause at times if I just want to get them to stop using devices right now. He was going around trying to get around the zinc fence for a couple of days, went online, found something on Amazon to some kind of kill switch he said it was that he was gonna get, and I was like, buddy, but you don't have a credit card, you can't buy stuff online. But yeah, so there are apps, there are physical devices. Amazon has a very effective product for helicopter parents. If you get the Amazon for Kids, there is a module that allows you to set on the Amazon Fire devices a certain amount of constructive work that needs to be done before they can do other things. So they need to do, half an hour of reading before they're allowed to do half an hour of watching videos or playing games. So there are many different little things that we can do. But just something I just want to say, I don't know if Edgar has seen this, but I read somewhere that addiction is very basic. And no matter what you're addicted to, the behaviors are the same. Whether it is drugs, alcohol, gambling, screen. And I was shocked one day, my daughter's iPad died and she wanted me to charge it and I refused. And she threw a tantrum. And I thought to myself, this is the behavior of somebody who is addicted. And I think it's very important for us to recognize that it can be a real addiction, and it's important for us to guide them away from it. Regulation of the screen time is very important to break them out of that addiction path, because every addiction starts off small. It starts off somewhere. A lot of teenagers get into drinking when they go out with their peers, and then if it's not checked or controlled, they become alcoholics. Some move on to drugs, that kind of thing. So unchecked screen time can lead to more and more screen time that leads to deep and dark corners of the internet that we don't want them to venture down.
I don't want that. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that comment very much. And we're going to take a break. This morning I was listening to the morning program on Flashpoint, and Ellie spoke about, usually she would talk about different days, and today was Biscuit Day. And I was supposed to bring her some chocolate cookies because she loves tea. So you see, we're going to take a break. We didn't get any tea, but we'll take a water break and we'll be right back. Do not go anywhere. Remember to share and click that like button. We'll be right back.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to laugh, shout, and think fast. It's time for Flash Family Trivia, where local answers meet epic questions And Flash Survey says you are gonna have a blast this Saturday, May 31st, 7:30 p.m. sharp, live at 269 West Bay Road. Come watch your teams as they bring their A game for an exciting night of fun, food, and family competition. Prizes, giveaways, and surprise challenges await. So come on down and let's find out who knows Cayman best. Flash Family Trivia, where every answer sparks a celebration.
Welcome to the second and last part of tonight's program, and I'm going to turn to Sir Edgar. And I think you're going to love this one, right? So Philippians 4 verse 8 talks about focusing on what is true, noble, pure, right, lovely, admirable. How can we help our children filter their media through this lens?
Two primary ways. And I want to go back to some of the points that Mara raised. Now, I think we did not explore one of them, and that has to do with the timing. When do we expose our kids? Can it be too early?
I believe so. In my opinion, I believe.
Yes, I think
Yes.
it can
So-
be too early.
So abstinence is an approach that we can use. So we do not allow them to be exposed until a certain age or a certain stage
Yes.
in their development. So that's one way. The next way is exposing them to all of those good qualities that Philippians 4:8
Right.
presents us with.
Right.
So they have to become familiar with what is true, what is good, what is of good report, what is virtuous, and having exposed them to the ideal, to the leading practice, to the best practice, when they are now exposed to what falls short, they are better able to identify it and reject it.
Yes, I agree.
So those are my two main ways we can help them.
Can I add a little to that? One of the things I try to do with the children is we go through different types of things that are available online. So when you think about videos, I'll sit and watch something with them and say, this is a movie. This is all made up. A group of people sat down, they wrote this, they got some money together, they got actors to come in, they played this whole story out, filmed it, packaged it. This is for us to watch, for entertainment. Then we'll go and watch the news and I'll say, this is what is happening today. This is informative. This is telling us we're here in Cayman. We're watching the news from the US, the UK, Ukraine, North Korea, all of that. This is informing us of current activities. And then we look at things like documentaries and say, this is a record of past events. These things are factual or objective stories about things that have happened that can be verified. Usually there is places, names of people, and dates of when these things happened. And so we can check back. So if you go on Google a particular event, if you go and research it, you will see more or less the same information that was shared on the documentary. And then we look at reality TV. So there are different types of reality TV. So you have the shows that are just all out madness, and then you have shows that follow, like there's this one that I love, The Incredible Dr. Paul, which is a story about a vet somewhere in the US, that's the Midwestern US, that he's a farm vet and he goes out to all of these, and we watched a few episodes of that. Being a car guy, I always loved to watch Top Gear, and my kids grew up watching me watch Top Gear. The presenters from Top Gear stopped doing that, and they started another show called The Grand Tour, and we started watching that show. And I took this as another opportunity to explain to them that this is now a scripted version of reality. So they are doing these things. It's not necessarily a movie, but it's not real life. This is not what people do normally. They're doing this for the kicks. And so we build this expectation of, we have to be able to identify what are we watching here. So again, with my son who's younger, one of the things I struggled explaining to him is that when he sees these guys on YouTube doing all these crazy stunts, and they have these big houses and these expensive cars, a lot of that stuff is not reality. It's not. The house is probably rented, you know. The car is probably rented. And they put a lot of effort into these videos to make you think that this is all how life really is, but it's not. And we have to be able to identify that. And it goes back to, I guess, how they look at themselves online as well. We have to make sure they can recognize what is real, what is a facade, and how to, don't want to lock them away from it all, but how to view it and move on, come back to your reality, and understand that, yeah, if you see a guy fill a house of water balloons and jump off the stair rail onto them, that's not something that we're going to do here, you know?
And, you know, having said that, I would like to know, can digital spaces also be a place where our children can shine their light? Do you gentlemen know of any stories where you have seen children using tech for good?
Yeah, well, certainly.
Go ahead, Edgar, go ahead.
Certainly. My oldest son, he doesn't do this anymore, or he has taken a break from it. But when he was younger, he would normally post videos of himself cooking, preparing meals, but he got busy in preparing for exams and took a break from doing that. So there are activities that, you know, young children can be engaged in that can be used as a tool of witnessing or used as a tool of encouraging and elevating other young kids.
I agree. And there's this young man on YouTube. I think at the time when I started watching him, he was probably 8. I think they call him the Kid President. He would give motivational speeches to children. So even if you're studying for an exam or you're having low self-esteem, he would come up with ways to help you feel more confident in yourself. I've seen young ladies, preteens, would do videos on self-care, and they would do this for other preteens who may not really grow up with their moms, And so they would do these self-care routines to help other young ladies who are maybe having a difficult time navigating that preteen stage. So I too have seen children using tech for good. I've seen even children from the Ebenezer Church reciting scriptures, some children preaching. So indeed, there are children who are actually using tech for good and bringing positivity into the lives of not only children but adults as well.
And another key way in which the kids can really use the digital space for good is being selective about what you share, what you forward.
Yes.
So if you receive garbage, let the garbage stop with you.
That's right.
Do not forward it. Yes.
That's
Put it in the bin.
That's right.
Don't forward it.
Let it stop.
Yes, let it stop with you. But if you receive something that is worthwhile,
Yes.
that will be elevating,
Yes.
that will be encouraging,
Yes.
that will be inspiring, feel free to share it.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. And for sure, many children use social media to connect, express themselves, or even learn. So how do we protect them without silencing them?
I believe one of the main ways in doing that is to train them to be different, because the digital space has a way of pulling you in and conditioning your mind to believe that a particular lifestyle or a particular way of presenting yourself is the norm or is the ideal. But our children need to be taught that it is okay to be different. As a matter of fact, leaders need to be different. Leaders need to be strong enough to lead so that others can follow them. And I think that's a good place to start, by building their self-confidence and building their self-confidence to the extent that even if they are rejected or isolated or slighted, they do not succumb to that pressure, because they know what is genuine, what is real, so that they can identify what is fake.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree. And how do you see the digital landscape changing in the next, let's say, 3 years? And what should parents start preparing for now, starting now? How should parents prepare for that? Mario, take that one. How do you see the digital landscape changing over the next 3 years?
I have a great fear for where we're headed.
Wow.
AI is doing so much now.
I know.
And they're doing so much. When I first heard about deep fakes, I was like, that can't be a thing. But then as the technology has gotten better and better, the first time I remember seeing it, I don't remember if you guys remember, some years ago there was a concert and there was a hologram of Michael Jackson dancing and singing on stage. And it was groundbreaking at the time. After he passed. It was groundbreaking at the time. More recently, somebody released a new song with Tupac, the rapper, long after he passed. And James Earl Jones, who was the voice of Darth Vader on Star Wars, consented to Lucasfilms to use AI to generate his voice to continue as Darth Vader until Lucasfilms and Star Wars is no more.
Wow.
Right? So we look at just a lot of things. Just today on my lunch break, I tend to scroll through Instagram, and I'm a Formula One fan, and they had a AI reel of all the Formula One drivers as like characters from different movies and stuff. And it's very hard to tell that it's not real. When you look at the texture of the skin and, you know, just the coloring and the finish of it, you know it's not real. You know it's AI. But it is getting there. A friend of mine shared a video recently with songs that were not only written by AI, the AI produced music videos to go with the songs. So there's a video of a guy singing country, white guy, full beard, cowboy hat, standing beside a pickup truck, typical country scenario. There's another guy rapping about something, black guy, gold teeth, sitting on one of those old American cars with the 20-inch spinners and that kind of thing. And it's a part of where the technology is going. And I think it is a little scary, because I think we are allowing ourselves to be overtaken by machine learning. I think, I'm not going to go on much longer, but I think we need to keep our brains active. A few years ago, Boeing had a problem with these planes falling out of the sky. Remember that? Cayman Airways had just bought 4 new planes and they were all grounded. AI was telling the plane it was climbing too fast and needed to trim. And this would send the planes in a dive. But there are 2 pilots in the plane sitting there looking at the controls going, what are you doing? We are not diving. We are not climbing too high. Let's continue to think. Let's continue to hold the yoke and stay in control. I know we are heading full force into this AI thing, but I think as parents of young children, let's try and teach them some of the old ways.
Correct.
You know, I was telling my children that there were days when we used to have a thing called MapQuest. If you ever had to drive around in the States before GPS, we'd print off all these instructions on MapQuest and we would drive with it. Somebody would be in the passenger seat navigating for us and we would do these things. We can get by without a lot of the technology that is available to us today, but we have to exercise our cognitive power to get this done, and we need to keep doing that, keep practicing. We need to keep writing, we need to keep reading, we need to keep trying to make things with our hands and keep that whole tradition of being humans going, so that, you know, we are not caught up in a cycle where we are relying on machines to do everything for us. Most of the emails I get these days are written by ChatGPT.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when are these people going to actually write something, you know?
And it's funny. I have 2 last questions and then we wrap up. But I saw a lady very emotional the other day crying. She was saying she saved a lot of money because she didn't have to go to a therapist, because she spoke to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT gave her some recommendations that she felt were better than what her therapist would actually give her. So you say it's scary. It's a bit scary and interesting, you know, and that is why we have to be intentional and steadfast when it comes to training our children in the way of the Lord, especially during this day and age. And if you could give one advice to every parent raising a child in this digital age in one sentence, what would it be? Edgar.
You mentioned training up the child. There has to be a reference point. And we know that the Word of God is that reference point, that unchanging reference. It is using that reference that will help us not to give up control. And we will come to the point where we will have to disbelieve our senses, what we see and what we hear. There is a particular video that is being shared that would appear as though it is Denzel Washington, but based on what I have seen of the video, it would seem that it is not Denzel Washington. So the images that will come to us, the things that we will hear, we may have to disbelieve them. But we can be assured that the Word of God is unchanging, that God Himself is unchanging, and truth will remain truth. And we have to stick to that point of reference and be willing to remain different despite what is happening. And it is also possibly beyond our wildest dream or imagination what may happen 2-3 years from now. But we know that above all that, God is in control, and whatever the situation may be, He's always going to provide a way of escape or a way in which we can manage it and give Him the control of our lives.
Amen. Amen. And my last question, I needed to put in an uncut part in tonight's edition. And if Jesus was here in person on earth, if He was raising children in this digital age, what do you think He would do or say about screen time?
Can I jump on that one?
Of course, Mario, go ahead.
The scripture says when Jesus returns, we will all know at once.
Yes.
He will live stream it.
Sorry about that. That's a good one, Mario. Could you repeat that one?
Yes, when the Lord returns, it will be live streamed.
Definitely.
Everybody everywhere will see at once. It's a live stream. It's going to be a live stream. It's going to be on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. Twitch, Kick, all at once. It's going to be live streamed. Right? So, I think one of the things that we have to be cognizant of, technology isn't evil. And we have to manage and control its purpose and its role in our lives.
Yes.
As parents, we do need to set boundaries. We do need to make the decisions. And our job is to protect, to nurture, and to bring up the children in a way that they will become responsible, useful adults. And it might not always be, all smiles and roses. Sometimes, as Edgar says, we have to be the bad guy. And we will get to that point where the children will look back and say, thank you for all that you did.
Of course. We are doing that now. We're doing that now. And before Edgar speaks, because I know he's coming up with something, I'm going to ask Cassie to chime in. If you could give one advice to every parent raising a child in this digital age, what would it be, Cassie? Your mic may be muted.
Is the sun blaster on, Ellie?
All right. In the meantime, Sir Edgar, go ahead, take it away.
Well, let us reflect on when Jesus was here.
All right.
there was a lot of hustling and bustling, nonetheless. But he found time to go apart and spend time with his father very early in the morning at the mountainside. And he fasted and he prayed. So I believe that there's also time for taking a break from screen time. Yes.
So you're saying Jesus maybe would have said, "Hey, that's enough time now. Need some time." Based on the life he lived
Yes.
when he was here, we can use that as reference.
There will be moments when there would be screen time, free time,
Yes.
or time away from the screen.
Yes.
Yes. And I think many families need that. Many relationships may need that. Set aside the phone, set aside the tablet, set aside the computer, and spend quality time. So we need that at several stages during the week and from time to time.
I agree. We need a internet detox.
Yes.
We need screen detox, so that we are not overstimulated, our brains are not, because a lot of people, they're getting headaches. Like I started wearing glasses during COVID because our mode of teaching during COVID was the screen. So all along I was 20/20 vision, and then all of a sudden I wasn't, right? So taking a break from the screen is truly important. Kathy, are you on? All right. Well, Cassie, please type it in the chat. What an incredible conversation. Tonight, we tackled the tough stuff, from screen time struggles to online safety, from parenting pressures to building a digital future our children deserve. But here's the takeaway. You don't have all the answers. We don't. What matters is showing up, staying aware, setting boundaries with love, and choosing protection over perfection. To our amazing panelists, thank you, gentlemen, for your wisdom, honesty, and heart. Thank you.
You're
to
welcome.
everyone who tuned in, thank you for being part of this great conversation. Because raising children in a digital world isn't just a challenge, it's an opportunity. An opportunity to raise conscious, curious, and confident digital citizens. Keep the conversation going, and we'll see you next time on Flash Talk, the Uncut edition. Stay safe, stay aware, stay connected. Good night.
Need help to produce your podcast?
Bye, Michael.
Flashpoint
I
Media
see your
makes it
comments.
very
Good night
easy.
and good evening,
We
everyone.
can
Good
relieve
evening,
the
Michael.
headache by recording your podcast for you. So, take the first step to getting your content to your desired audience. Contact us here at Flashpoint, and your podcast will be live in no time. Our website is www.flashpointmedia.ky, or call us at 345-321-6969. That's a 345-321-6969.
This is FlashTalk, the Uncut edition. Say it just how you feel it.
No filters, no fluff, just real talk with the full Flashpoint fam. Get with it.
From hot takes to belly laughs, the crew is locked in and ready.
From debates that might get a little spicy, including all VIP members. This is where vibes meets voice. jokes, meets proof, and leave taught things.
We are here to get real.
It's raw. It's real. And it's about time.
This is Flash Talks, the Uncut edition. Flash Farm. What are the things then now?
Real people, real voices, real conversations.
Flash Talk, the Uncut edition, at 7 p.m. every Thursday, right here on Flashpoint.
Here are 5 internet safety tips for kids. Number 1. Don't give out personal information, such as home address, school name, or phone number. Number 2. Never send pictures to strangers. Number 3. Keep passwords private, except from parents. Number 4. Don't download anything without permission. It may contain a virus that can harm your computer. And number 5. Tell an adult if you receive a mean or strange message. For more